What's going on, guys? It's Rick from Only Football coming to you guys live with a brand new episode of Only Football. Today we're going over Week 15 predictions. I'm Rich Bitch, Defensive Player of the Year discussion, and we're going to end it off with, so you're telling me there's a chance. Stay tuned.
I was told there's a podcast.
What's up, Collinsworth? What's up, dude?
What's going on? Man, it feels good to be back in the studio. I'm excited to go over all these games, especially with playoffs right around the corner.
Yep.
I mean, who's getting in? There's only so many spots available. And we're going to talk about that later, but we're going to start off with our Week 7 games.
Oh, Week 7, yeah, Week 7 games. It says Week 15, but Kyle said Week 7. So let's go for Week 7. I think the Broncos still have a chance.
Yeah. Oh, those were the days.
Oh, those were the days
when I still had something to have hope in.
When I still thought the Bears were gonna win too. Don't worry about it. It's all good.
Yeah.
So, like Kyle said, Week 7, he was wrong, but let's go over Week 15, and we're going to start off with Thursday night football. We have got the 49ers at the Seahawks. 49ers, Brock Purdy, getting all of San Francisco Brock hard for Purdy.
You put that well.
I love it.
Yeah.
I'm so good at that.
Did you make that up?
I did. I really did.
You really, I'm not even kidding right now. Like for the pie, I'm being dead serious.
Mm-hmm.
You need to make sure that you stop saying that until you
until I put a copyright on
yeah.
it. Everyone from San Francisco, don't you dare.
Don't even think about it.
Don't even look at it.
We'll get to that segment later too.
We'll get there. But 49ers with Brock Purdy, they looked really good in his first official start. The Seahawks are kind of on a downward spiral.
Yes.
Geno is looking a little bit worse. Who are you taking on this Thursday night football game?
All right. Well, I'm gonna look at my play sheet and then channel my inner head coach. I'm gonna
where's your armband?
Call the play. No, that's the quarterback.
Oh, that's right.
I'm the coach. I gotta have.
Yeah, make sure you have the headset on.
Gotta have the headset, and I gotta be covering my mouth so you can't read my lips because they're so paranoid, right? One hand on the hip. All right, but seriously, this is my play sheet because it has a lot of good info, and the info I'm using is the last 3 games. Why am I not using season data? Because I don't care what you did in week 2, right?
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
a different time of year. It's different football. The weather's changing. Teams are changing. Injuries are happening. I want to know, what have you done for me lately? And when I look at Seattle and I see that they're the 30th ranked defense in the last 3 games.
Oh, my God.
30th. I mean, that is, you can only be 2 worse, right? I mean, that's like
bottom of the barrel right there.
That is bottom of the barrel.
We're scraping.
Now, their offense is ranked 4th, but this is the last 3 games, okay? Yeah. So the first game and the second game on this last 3 games, they had Kenneth Walker. They had Dallas. They had a running game.
Yep.
They lost that running game. They lost Kenneth Walker. He's not going to be back that I know of, right?
That we know of. Yeah, that's right.
Which becomes really important in this prediction, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
And as I'm telling you this, I'm just going to pull it up right now. Seahawks to get top running back Kenneth Walker back for 49ers. All right, well, that's huge. But I'm looking at a 49ers defense that is emotions with
you also have to look angry all the time.
And I gotta throw it down. Okay, so you got a 49ers team. Their defense right now, number 1. Number 1 defense in the last 3 games, and it's really been the number 1 defense of the season. So this isn't a small sample size. This is a big picture. This 49ers defense is good enough to win all of their games, because the reality is, and this isn't the sexy part of what people love about football, but if you can keep your opponents from scoring 0 points in some cases, like the shutout they had 2 games ago, or less than 10. You don't need Brock Purdy to do that much. And he went in, and I already talked about it. I was like, he did not play to not lose. That kid's got something about him. It's special. I think having a defense like that and the weapons he has given him a confidence that we're not accustomed to seeing from 7th round last pick guys.
Yeah.
But I'm going to go with San Francisco to keep rolling right now.
Yeah, and I agree. I'm taking the San Francisco 49ers as well. You know, you mentioned how he went into his first official start, and they were like, hey, all you got to do is manage. All you have to really do is not mess this up. You don't throw interceptions, don't fumble the ball. He went and he balled out. You know, if you guys follow us on YouTube, you saw a video that we posted up about like his start and everything, right? Like he was looking really good during his start. And with all the talent around him, even though I think Debo is hurt, but I mean, you still have so many weapons on that San Francisco team.
Yeah.
That's why I'm taking the 49ers to beat the Seahawks. Like you said, their defense is ranked 30th. Kenneth Walker may or may not be in. We don't know, right? Who else do they have? DK, but Gino's been looking a little worse.
Tyler Lockett.
But I mean, that's kind of it, right?
Yeah.
Like that's it. Like they have running backs, but nowhere near what Kenneth Walker has done this year.
Yeah, and the problem is like Geno Smith has digressed in the last couple games.
He has. Sounds like he's coming back down to earth, man.
He's coming back down to earth a little bit, I think so. And on top of that, if you're looking for a guy to kind of get momentum and get back to like the highs that he was playing, it's not going to happen against the 49ers and Nick Bosa.
No, their defense is so good.
Yeah, I mean, you saw what they did to Tom Brady. Not even Tom Brady. Look what they do to everybody. Why would that change? I don't expect
for Geno Smith.
Yeah, I don't expect
of all the quarterbacks. But I mean, look what Brock Purdy did, right? So you never know.
Yeah,
and especially again in this year.
But Brock Purdy
NFL,
did that with his defense. Seattle's got a terrible defense. So
that's true.
I guess I don't see this game. So I was gonna say, like, if it gets into a shootout, that's when you worry about Brock Purdy. You know, because it's like, okay, now the pressure is on you. Can you score points? But I don't think they can get into a shootout with the best defense in the NFL.
No, absolutely.
The best they can do is score 17, probably.
I could buy 17. Yeah. Whenever DK kind of, balls out a little bit, I can definitely buy that.
Yeah, DK maybe has a couple good catches, but I do think that it's going to be a low-scoring game. It has to be. So, moving on from that game, actually, I did want to share with you the over on that game's 43 points. So, they're projecting a 20-23 game. I think that's on the high side, at least for one of those teams.
Unless you got the 49ers scoring 30 plus again.
Yeah, unless it's 31-10, then you're still under. So
fun week in the NFL, actually. And as we're getting into the next game, Saturday games are a thing this week.
I totally forgot about that.
Yeah, we have 3 total Saturday games. And I didn't realize that until I'm kind of writing down the notes. And I was like, what are these? Why is it? Oh, Saturday games. And you had told me about that.
Yeah, triple header.
Yeah, and I forget when you told me about that. It was either one of our live streams or one of our actual episodes, right? Something like that. But 3 Saturday games, and we start off Colts at Vikings. The Colts trash team. Sorry, Chris. We were arguing in the comments not too long ago about the Colts and the Bears. Going against the Vikings, who just came off that loss as underdogs at home against the Lions. Or were they at home? I forget. I think they were in Detroit.
Detroit was at home.
So the Vikings were still underdogs. They have the better record. They have what's supposed to be the better team, but they have the worst differential of a team with that record, right? So they're taking on the Colts at home. I don't really – I mean, do you want to start or do you want me to kind of go with my pick first?
I'll let you go first because I'm curious to where you're going to go with this game because it seems like Minnesota could be doing one or two things, and I want to hear what you got to say about it.
The Minnesota defense, like I said all year long, has been sus. They are just bad. They're just plain bad. I love their offense. I love what Kirk Cousins has done this year, and Kirk Cousins had almost 400 yards last week on his own passing.
Yeah.
And his defense just kind of let him down, right? So the defense is going to be a recipe for disaster. Won't come playoffs. But the Colts are also just like a walking L, pretty much. So I think I'm taking the Vikings purely based on their offense because the defense and the offense on the Colts side can't really get anything done. They still got Matt Ryan. He looks like he just looks like an old man back there, and he's got
pretty
a line.
Much is, you know.
And who I forget who we were talking about. I think we were who we were talking with during one of our live streams. Can't remember who it was. I'm sorry. It was one of the guys on here commenting with us. But the Colts offensive line is doing him no favors back there. So
yeah, which is something we haven't seen in a while. Colts was like known for their O line,
especially
for like
last
4
season.
or 5 years.
Yeah,
seems like.
Yeah. I mean, Andrew Luck was the reason Andrew Luck was having a great career until he retired. So as much as this defense for the Vikings isn't that great, I think they're going to actually get to Matt Ryan, get some pressure on him, and make it basically. I don't want to say a lopsided win because the Colts have actually surprised us this year in a couple games, but I will call it a 10 to 14 point win by the Vikings against Colts.
Okay. I have a little bit of a different take.
Oh, here we go.
Now, the Vikings, okay, they started, was it 8-1? They lost to the Eagles week 2 on Monday night.
Yeah.
In that double header that they moved.
Week 4 or
no, week 2. Week 2. Because it was a double header Monday Night Football that they moved in order for Russell Wilson's return to Seattle be the only game on Monday night, week 1.
Oh, okay.
Because usually it's like every year they do a doubleheader on week 1.
Okay.
So that's how I know it's week 2.
Mm-hmm.
But then they won like all their games all the way to the bye week.
Mm-hmm.
So not like they did. They won all their games to the bye week. And a lot of people are like, okay, let's talk about, the opponent, how well they are. They were just not a lot of great teams that they're beating, but hey, you can only beat who's on your schedule.
Exactly.
And they got the job done. And there's something to be said. These are NFL teams. Like,
yeah,
I don't care if you beat all the, bottom half teams in the NFL. You look what Houston almost did to Dallas.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it means something to keep winning.
Yep.
Then
great example.
You get the bye week over, and then you saw the Thursday game, the Thanksgiving game against New England. New England's not like, I would say they're like 16, 17. They're in that mid. They're not like,
they're in the lower mid of the
New England's not a team that you can like not prepare for.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you do have to watch film and like take them serious because they'll beat you.
Absolutely.
Especially with Belichick. He's not going to be unprepared.
He's not going to just roll over.
Yeah. So they're able to kind of get in that fight with New England and then come out on top. And that kind of meant a lot. As a fan, I was like, hey, like, if they can get into a game like that playing a tough opponent, like, I don't care about what people are saying about their lesser opponents.
Yeah. What
they did in New England is admirable if you're a Vikings fan. That's what you want to see.
Yeah.
And the loss that they just had to Detroit, I think because they're an underdog and then they lost the game. And then didn't they lose the week before? I'm trying to remember. Pull that up really quick.
Yep, I'll pull it up.
Because I think they only had one loss, and then they got another one, and I'm trying to figure out where it was.
I think the Vikings were.
That was the Lions. That's last week.
Yeah.
The week before.
The week prior.
Yeah.
I got it. Okay. Yep.
So I think the Lions, what people aren't giving credit for to the Vikings right now is how good the Lions are playing.
Yeah.
The Lions have the 3rd ranked defense in the last 3 games, and they have a 15 defense. They're 15 right now in points allowed. Versus on the season, they're 30th.
Yeah.
So ever since they started turning the ball over and forcing those takeaways that we talked about on this show,
Vikings won. They beat the Jets.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that'll be interesting though, because now Detroit plays the Jets.
Yeah.
So Detroit beat the Vikings. So, I mean, you would think they can beat the Jets if the Vikings go, but that's not how matchups work.
Exactly. But we will get to that.
Yeah. So I'm thinking people are like, oh, I don't like the fact that you had to think about this game and you're like, Indy, but Minnesota's got to be on defense. It's like, no, Minnesota's going to beat the shit out of the Colts.
Yeah.
And the reason we're low on them right now, this is a good time to buy Minnesota if they're a stock, because they had a non-attractive win against the Jets and then they lost to the Lions, and everyone's just kind of like, yeah, Minnesota's going to linger around. They're going to win the division, but they'll be one and done.
Yeah.
I'm not sure because I've seen them when they're firing on all cylinders and in a shootout with Buffalo. In Buffalo.
Yeah.
And I've seen them win those games.
Yeah. There's things to like look at. There's evidence there where you're like, they can keep up if they really, really want to.
Yeah.
Right. But their defense isn't going to be.
They're back in Minnesota. Skull. And that team plays different at home. Justin Jefferson gets going. He plays really well. And I think that this is going to be a high-scoring game. And I would challenge you, find any Super Bowl winning team in the last 10 years that didn't have some kind of like low of the season. The only one I can think of, Super Bowl winner, it was actually, they were the Super Bowl loser, and it was the Patriots when they went 16-0. And then they lost to the Giants. Yeah. That's the only one I can think of. Like, I think about the Broncos just because it's my team. Mm-hmm. We couldn't even believe that we were in the Super Bowl. Like, we had Brock Osweiler starting like 7 games that season.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, like, this is just, if Minnesota wins the Super Bowl this year, think about how we thought about Cincinnati last year around this time of year. No one took them serious. It was like, Cincinnati will make it, but who cares?
But it was a little different because Minnesota are the division leaders. The Bengals weren't. The Bengals were a wild card team. This is a Vikings team that is like built to win now, whereas the Bengals were like, holy shit, that's a surprise.
But that's my point. Is like when Cincinnati was in, like, if I told you right now, Minnesota wins the Super Bowl, right? What would your first thing that comes to mind?
I'd be so surprised.
Exactly, and that's how everyone felt about Cincinnati getting to the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
So that's my comparison there. I do think that Super Bowl teams and teams that can compete for Super Bowls are going to have some kind of like roadblock, and you almost need those, or you'll end up like the 16-0 Patriots.
Yeah,
you need
the most important game of your season.
So that's my take on that. I got Minnesota winning this one by a good margin.
Sounds good. Then I'll put you down for the Vikings. All right, next Saturday game up, we have got the Ravens going to Cleveland, taking on the Browns for another AFC North divisional matchup. The Browns, week 2 of the Deshaun Watson experiment.
Yep.
They took the L, I believe, last week.
They did. Lost to Cincinnati.
Cincinnati that was another AFC North. A lot of division matchups, especially towards the end of the season. I think the NFL just does this because it's like, hey, division races are tight. Playoff races are tight.
Some separation.
Yep. So
I do think though that I said Deshaun Watson. I asked you, I was like, when is he going to get back into his season form? Mm-hmm. I do think he looked all right. I was watching his highlights. Just a couple hours ago.
He looked good.
Fine.
Yeah.
He threw for 320 yards.
Exactly. So I think maybe this game against the Ravens, and is a Ravens team that is like struggling on offense right now.
Yeah.
This is not the normal for the Ravens, really. It's like rush, touchdowns, and defense.
Yep.
Right now, they're struggling on both sides of the ball.
They got their backup quarterback in.
They got their backup, I think, last week, but hopefully it's their backup, Tyler Huntley.
Tyler Huntley's supposed to be back in the game. He's playing.
So that is what's going on. We've got the Ravens. Yeah, Saturday. We got the Ravens going to Cleveland to take on Deshaun Watson with a backup quarterback.
What do you think?
I don't know. This is actually,
you have to know. That's literally what we're doing.
This is one of the toughest ones. You son of a no. One of the toughest matchups I think we're gonna have to try to predict this week. And I think I'm taking the Browns at home. I think Deshaun Watson actually like puts up points on the board a lot.
Have you seen School of Rock?
Yeah.
You know the scene where the principal's telling Jack Black that there's a teacher's student parent conference. Yeah. And he's like, yeah, I wasn't thinking about going to that. And she's like, you have to go.
Teacher.
You're the teacher. That's what I.
You have to know.
Yeah.
You're the guy on the podcast.
That's what I thought when you were like, I don't know. I don't know.
God, I don't know. I'm gonna let you take it.
You're like, bro, you're the teacher. Come on.
But yeah, I'm taking the Browns at home, man. They might get they might steal a win here against the division leaders.
Well, the Browns are favored to win, so this should be your underdog of the week, right?
Should be.
But it's not.
Yeah, the Browns are favored by 3 points. They're -3 right now.
Let's see. What does the play sheet say? The play sheet says that Baltimore's the last 3 games, the 23rd ranked offense, and Cleveland's the 31st.
Okay.
The play sheet says that their defense is ranked 8th, and the Browns are ranked 9th. Which means this is a don't touch it.
Ooh.
This is a don't touch it.
Is this your don't touch it?
Absolutely.
Oh, all right. Well, now we got his don't touch it.
You just see, and actually,
no, you already have a don't touch it.
There's three of them, and I'll say there's three matchups where you look at the offense and the defense, and it's like they're 10 and they're 9, and then on offense they're 30 and they're 31, and it's like don't go near that because that's gambling. Like you don't know what's gonna happen. I mean, right now we're just gonna go with our gut because we have to make a pick. But we're no different than the experts, the professionals. No one knows what's going to happen. There's nobody that has the secret about this game. I'm going to go with the Browns.
Browns, I knew it.
I don't think Deshaun Watson goes 0-3 in his first 3 starts. I think being at home, they're going to want to play really well. We've seen the Browns play well at home against Cincinnati, against the Bengals. They beat them. They play different when they're playing at home, and this is going to be a night game. The lights on. I can feel the juice in Cleveland potentially.
I like it. And then we end off.
Is Nick Chubb healthy?
He's still healthy, but he just hasn't gotten the ball.
If Nick Chubb's healthy, I expect him to have a big game.
He better, man, because we're in the playoffs.
He better, man. I can't afford this.
I need this. I need Chubb to give me a Chubb. That's what I need this week. But let's end it with our Saturday games with another. I think this is just a great rivalry matchup coming up. Dolphins.
This is the last Saturday game. My bad, guys. I was like, the lights will be on. It's nighttime. It's going to be 4 o'clock.
Oh, come on.
I guess eventually the lights will come on. By halftime,
they'll be
but that's not what I meant. They know that.
You'll be fine. We've got the Dolphins at Bills for another AFC matchup. Now, the Dolphins beat the Bills their first time up. So, the Bills are at home this time. This is an important matchup for the AFC East, even though I think the Bills will eventually take the crown. But the Bills are coming off a stretch of games where they are looking better. They're finally looking like the team in the offseason where we're like, hey, this team's actually going to make it. Yeah, sure. They've won a couple close games.
Yeah.
Josh Allen hasn't made the same mistakes he did during that like middle of the season where I was like, okay, what's going on here, right?
Fair.
The Dolphins did get a loss, I believe, right, last week. They took that L.
Oh, yeah, we watched it live.
Yes, we did watch live. You're right. It was a Thursday night game. I'm so sorry. I apologize. Ginger Ninja, what's going on, man?
Let's go Colts.
There you go. It was Ginger Ninja. I was talking to you about the offensive line. So, yeah. But what's up, man? Welcome to the stream.
Thanks for joining, brother.
So they took the L. I can't see the Dolphins taking 2 losses in a row, but I also can't see them losing or beating 3 in a row, beating the Bills at home
twice in a row
in Buffalo.
So you can't see Miami beating the Bills twice, but you can see Miami losing 3 in a row.
Yeah.
So this
is a tough one.
You have
no idea.
You're the teacher. We're gonna make that a clip that I can pull up.
Teacher. I'm going with the Bills at home just because they're. Hey, there we go. I'm going with the Bills at home. I'm taking the Bills.
All right.
And you could put that on Bible.
This is that just got super gangster. This is what I'll say about Buffalo. You got the one thing you have in common with Buffalo, 7 inches. They're getting 7 inches of snow.
Oh. I was like, I don't think I have that in common.
I'm gonna die.
Give me too much credit there.
This is the best episode of Only Football we've ever had.
The best.
Thanks for being here with us. All right. So in all seriousness, it's going to snow. And this is a game that's in Buffalo. And this is a Miami team that is not used to snow.
Yep.
Think about their quarterback, Tua Tagovailoa. He was their quarterback in Alabama, not a cold place, but also don't play in a dome. Like,
yeah,
he might have played in like 45, 50. It's going to be Buffalo snow. Buffalo snow's different. Built different. Buffalo snow makes their neighbors have to go shovel for the players to even get to the game.
To get them on the plane.
To evacuate to get to Detroit, where they ended up going 2 days in a row. And I did look it up. I forgot to tell you. It's only an hour flight from Buffalo to Detroit.
Really?
Yeah, it said like 1 hour, 20 minutes.
Okay.
Because you were like, why would they go back? Yeah, but they got their families at home. Like, imagine you wanting to go home to your wife. You don't want to be like, hey, I'm staying in Buffalo or Detroit for 7 more days.
That's true. That's true.
Okay, so moving on, though, from that. I do think that Buffalo wins this game. Buffalo is moving the ball again. 11th ranked offense, not number 1 like they were all year. This is just the last 3 games, Jinja. The last 3 games, Buffalo's 11, but they're number 3 on defense. Mm-hmm. So they haven't had Von Miller since Thanksgiving, the second half of Thanksgiving. Mm-hmm. So he's been out, 1.5 games? 2.5 games?
2.5.
And they're still ranked 3rd. So Von Miller at this point kind of feels like if you're like super wealthy and you have 2-3 like sports cars and one of them dies.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, I'll just take the Benz.
That sucks. Yeah.
Although I do think that he would have been key to their success come time to play the Chiefs in the championship game.
I would agree.
So it is a blow, but I don't think it's anything that, look, Miami's getting exposed right now.
They are.
Let's just call it what it is. Miami, I wouldn't say is getting exposed for losing the game that they lost 2 weeks ago when they played San Francisco, even though they kind of did get exposed because they couldn't do anything. Because I would just be like, well, the 49ers are just that good, right?
They are that good.
But the Chargers, like, what are we doing here? Okay, now it feels like, now it feels like they're going to be like, there's a lot of pressure to fix it. You know what I mean?
And they're having that late season stumble that the Bills had mid-season.
Yeah.
It's kind of bad. Yeah.
And I don't think the Bills had it this bad because they lost. Who did they lost to the Vikings on a fluke because Josh Allen fumbled the knee. He's supposed to be drowning the clock out and he fumbled it.
Yep, that's correct.
And their defense made a really key stand there, like the type of stand that makes you win a game. It's really rare that a quarterback fumbles the snap when he's trying to kill the clock. And then
that's true.
And then I think they lost like one after that, but it was really like, they didn't go undefeated, but like I don't think the Bills did what the Dolphins just did against a Chargers team. Like they look bad.
Yeah.
I mean, we watched the whole game and it was like you must have had under 200 yards passing, it seemed like.
Again, they had the worst first half, I think, of all season that they've had.
Yeah, so I don't expect them now to go into Buffalo, which will be a hostile environment because all the Miami fans have been blowing up the Twitter feed because they beat Buffalo and they talked all this shit and Buffalo's been like, yeah, we'll see you. We'll see you in December. Like, yep. And now it's time and it's going to be snowing and Buffalo's going to win. And I don't think the game's within like, I'm going to say over 8. I'm going to say they could win by like 10. I don't think it's going to be like no last second field goal, no 2-minute drive. I think Buffalo's got the game locked up by like 10 minutes left in the fourth. It's like,
really?
Okay, this is not. Wow. This isn't like going to be a close one. So
I like it. I like it. I like that prediction. It's bold but it also like you got stuff to back it up against Miami. So let's move on to our Sunday morning games. We're going to start off with the Falcons at the Saints in New Orleans. 2 teams in the NFC South that somehow still have a shot at the division title even at week 15. It's insane with the Bucks kind of just
Thanks, Giselle.
yeah. Thanks, Giselle. Honestly, at this point, any team in the NFC South can take it, but it was so funny because like at one point we were like, hey, the Falcons can take it. Oh man, the Saints look good. Oh wait, the Bucks are still the Bucks. This is the Panthers coming up. You know what I mean? So
wouldn't it be awesome to be in that division as a Bears fan?
Oh, I'd love it so much. It would literally be the best thing ever. But so we've got the Falcons visiting New Orleans. They're going to go on to Bourbon Street, get absolutely trashed.
And then not be able to perform.
And then just not show up to the game. So it's going to be a forfeit. No, I'm kidding. So
that's what happens in Vegas when the Raiders.
I don't know who to take here. Another one, right? Kyle?
Yeah. This is. Oh,
you're the teacher.
I thought you were saying this is another don't touch it. Yeah,
we got to get more in sync. I apologize.
No. Honestly, if I have to pull this up, you're gonna be surprised at how many times we have to say that.
That's true, especially with this type of. Sorry, we're about to destroy the stable.
No, you're good.
But I'm taking the home team again because you said it. I think last week during one of our episodes or one of the live streams. You got to take the home team when you don't know who to pick.
Yes.
And the Falcons have fallen off completely. Mariota is no longer how he started off. This is kind of similar to the Panthers of last year where we had Darnold start off hot and just fall completely off. Mariota has done that same thing. And again, we look to that Falcons-Panthers game where the Panthers defense went up. Their stock went up. their offense, or at least their running game,
and
went
good
up.
on you for calling that.
Yeah,
because I thought you were crazy when you took Seattle. I thought you were fucking out of your mind.
Seattle
or Carolina to beat Seattle. I was like, dude, there's no way that Carolina beats a shitty team and now they're going to go into Seattle and win a game. And you were like, I got Carolina. I like what I'm seeing. And I was like, okay,
and the running game showed up. So we have that again.
And DJ Moore's chemistry with Sam Darnold.
It's so good.
Yeah,
it's so good. But I'm taking the Saints in this one. The Falcons just don't do it for me. And Andy Dalton has actually played pretty well in his couple starts as of recently. So I'm taking the Saints at home.
Yeah, New Orleans hasn't been very good offensively in the last 3 games. They've been pretty bad, like about as bad as you can get, pretty much 29.
Dude, Jesus.
But I'm gonna take the Saints too because they're the home team and they've actually been playing really good defensive football in the last couple of games.
Okay.
So yeah, last couple of games they're the 7th ranked defense, which is top 10. And you, like you said, you talk about the struggles of Mariota. You talk about them not getting Cordell Patterson involved, and if they're playing a good defensive team at home, crowds into it, everyone's shouting defense. I expect more. I expect a lot of turnovers in this game, to be honest. I would say New Orleans forces 2 turnovers, and I say whoever wins the turnover battle in this game wins the game.
All right. Let's move on to...
Which is New Orleans.
So 2-1 or 2-1 or 2-0? Throwing up gang signs over here. I know I'm from Chicago, but chill. Next game up, we just talked about the Panthers. They are at home against the Steelers. And for all the reasons I just named in the last game, I'm taking the Panthers again. At home, Sam Darnold's actually playing pretty well. The running game is still good. The DJ Moore connection, like you mentioned, the defense is playing very well. TJ Watt and Minka Fitzpatrick for the Steelers side can't do this all on their own.
Yeah.
And unless I'm mistaken, I don't think what's his name? Pickett is playing for is starting. It might be Trubisky again. And we saw what Trubisky had last week when he came in. 3 interceptions. Don't get me wrong. He did lead a really nice offensive drive there to I think they scored on that offensive drive for the Steelers. They can't beat the Panthers at home with that defense. They just can't. So I'm taking the Panthers at home to beat the Steelers.
Yeah, this is going to definitely be a Pittsburgh win. Mike Tomlin doesn't lose 3 games in a row. These are just one of those things that, like, somehow, some way, it's just very, very unlikely that he'll lose a 3rd game in a row. It's just look at his track record, and you only have like over a decade worth of material to sift through. I mean, and if he does lose 3 in a row, it's not going to be to Carolina. Like, there's been Sam Darnold comes in, teams weren't prepared for him, and you see that a lot. But can he do it a 3rd week in a row? We saw Sam Darnold start a whole season last year, and that
that was rough.
When you can game plan for him, he's not a hard guy to shut down. And like you said, there's no secret recipe. They're just gonna run the ball with Hubbard and the other guy. I can't think of his name either. They're just gonna run the ball, and then they're gonna do play action and get DJ Moore involved because they do have good chemistry. But I expect Pittsburgh to be ready for that, and I expect Trubisky, not being on the scout offense, getting the first team reps potentially this week.
Yeah.
I expect him to go out there and play better. I'm going to take Trubisky and his experience over Sam Darnold because now both teams are properly preparing for one another.
So are you taking the Steelers more on Trubisky or more on Mike Tomlin doesn't lose this many in a row?
It's both. It's hard to pick. It's definitely Mike Tomlin, because if it was Kenny Pickett, I would pick the Steelers as well.
Okay. Maybe I might go Steelers too, but
I'm not thinking that Trubisky loses the game. So because I said because of Mike Tomlin, I would have picked him whether it was Trubisky or it was Kenny Pickett. But if I wasn't if I was really low on Mitch Trubisky, then there's a scenario where I would have went to Carolina once he started. But I'm not going to. So I mean, I think some of the people probably agree with that. I think Mitch Trubisky is literally out there trying to prove that he can be serviceable. I bet you $1 million in his head, he's still trying to prove that he can be an NFL starting quarterback.
I mean, he's still trying to prove that he was worth that 2nd overall pick in that draft.
Yeah,
it's tough to come back from that, but He's trying.
He's trying.
So we got to give him credit where
That'll be a
credit's
fun
due.
game to watch too.
I think so.
Yeah,
I think it would be a good one.
They seem so evenly matched.
Yeah. Our next game, nowhere near evenly matched. We've got the Eagles going to Soldier Field. Eagles going to Soldier Field to take on the Bears. Justin Fields is back. He did start that game against, finally, something.
Yes!
Something to look forward to.
What if he beats the Eagles? Holy crap.
If he beats Jalen Hurts and the Eagles, you'll see me hammered on the next live stream.
What if he scores 48 fantasy points and they win?
I'm going to be mad because I think I'm starting the Josh Allen over Fields in this game.
Oh my gosh, we should go to the game. Let's just do it.
That's called insanity, everybody.
What if we did?
The Eagles going to the Bears. The only thing to look forward to as a Bears fan is that Justin Fields is playing. Whether or not that's a good thing, I don't know. Their defense is really good. The Eagles side, right? But Justin Fields is also very elusive. He's been able to get points on the ground and actually get points through the air as well. Hitting Kmet. Mooney is out for the season, but hitting Mooney, he's still got Byron Pringle. He's still got like I said, Kmet.
Oh, yeah.
He also has Claypool there, who he threw to a lot not last week, but the week prior to that, before the bye week. So he's got some weapons. But I just can't see this Eagles team losing against the Bears. The Eagles are kind of hitting their stride, and this is after that loss for the Commanders. So they were struggling the last couple games, but they're finally hitting their stride going to the playoffs. They're going to win out up until week 18, sit all their starters week 18, go into the playoffs with the number 1 seed, and it's just going to be another win for the Eagles, and it's going to be another loss for the Bears. So I'm taking the Eagles in this one. Kyle's about to say something crazy. I could see it in his eye. Look at that. I wish I could zoom in on you and your crazy eye.
This is one of those things where like you can't explain it, but you look at the game on paper and like you can see it. Like
coach's sheet.
You see, do you ever do that though? Like you saw, like there was a Pittsburgh game earlier in the season. I took Pittsburgh. I was like, you can just like almost see it happening.
See the things aligning.
Like Chicago, Philly just has like the makings for a good game. It just sounds like two big cities of big pride going against each other.
Yeah, I guess.
Justin Fields, and you don't want to be the hunted. You don't want to be the hunted. You want to lay low like the Bengals and just win your games and just keep it on the down low. Right now, everybody, especially teams that aren't in the playoffs, especially teams that have nothing left to prove. You talk about a game where you can earn some pride points.
Yep.
Beat the best team in the NFL at home. Give me the Bears by 1.
I think every time Kyle has picked the Bears, they've won. I'm mad because I feel like the Bears are going to win now, but I'm also like, you're an idiot because it's the Eagles. But if you take the Bears, I mean, I hope.
Hey, if the Commanders can do it, well, they got a better defense.
They have a much better defense. That's what I'm saying.
Justin Fields is Jalen Hurts, though.
I mean, in a sense, sure.
Like Jalen Hurts has more weapons. Don't talk me out of it, asshole.
I'm not saying anything. I'm just saying.
The Bears are going to have to play their best game of the season. I'm not discrediting that. The Bears are going to have to play like a team you haven't even seen this year.
This is what
I'm just saying. It's Christmas time. It's going to be cold. Like the Bears fans are going to
Why is he talking me into this right now?
The Bear fans are going to have signs that say like, all I want for Christmas is the Bears win. The fans are going to be in it. Fields wins this game.
There's no way.
And that is the turning point. You think it already happened because of how good he's played this season? You don't know what a turning point is until he beats Jalen Hurts. You will see a turning point and no one will ever question, not just Bears fans. They're sold.
Yeah.
The league will never question Justin Fields again.
I like where you're going with that. Although I think the Bears already had their best game against the Dolphins in a loss.
Because you haven't seen this yet. It hasn't happened yet, Rick.
Anything could happen this year. Anything could happen. So I got the Eagles.
The Bears.
Let's go into our next game.
Am I a Bears fan?
Which you got the flag.
You know what? I should have put this on when I made my pick.
Lee Corso when he puts on the...
Yeah. Give me And then like reach down, they're like, I know you guys only have 2 helmets.
You guys have nothing else. We can start getting bobbleheads and start putting them in front of the camera.
Oh, yeah. eBay.
eBay, $2.
Fans,
Or send it to us. Send it to us. Next game up, we've got the Chiefs visiting Houston to go against the lowly Texans.
We don't have to spend time on this, right?
We don't have to spend too much time on this. I think we both got the Chiefs.
Yes.
Okay, cool. So we both got the Chiefs. The Chiefs.
We could talk, just out of respect for the Texans, we could talk about their 2 defensive players that they drafted this year came up big against the Cowboys.
Yes.
They do have young guys that deserve
names?
to get some credit, and they did. Dude, the Texans had a really good draft this year.
They had a lot of picks for that Deshaun Watson. Yeah. No, they did.
And there was a team that the Jets, they jumped ahead of the Texans in the first round to get Bryce White, or no, something Lee White or something. Some playmaker, somebody that the Jets picked up. If you looked up their first round picks, it wasn't the 2 names that you're thinking of. It was like another guy.
Petre. Something like that, right? The for the Texans, the ones who made the safety, right? We're talking about the safety.
Yeah. Jets first round. I just actually wanted to say this over here.
Jalen Petre. No.
Oh yeah.
Derek Stingley Jr.
It's given me 2000. They didn't get Garrett Wilson this year, did they?
No, Garrett Wallow.
No,
We're so bad at names.
Yeah, we are.
We're not Texans fans. We don't care.
Yeah,
we don't care.
Honestly, like the fact that we're even going this deep into it.
Yeah, the fact that I typed something about the Texans tells you that we give a shit, but we don't care that much about the Texans.
Yeah, so they got Garrett Wilson, and
that was the Jets.
Yeah, we're talking about the Jets.
No, we're talking.
Oh my God, I'm done. I am done. Why did it send me to a Jets fucking thing? All right. The Texans got really good draft picks. Their young guys are playing really well. It has nothing really to do with their ass getting whooped by the Chiefs, but it's just as a future building block type thing.
Yeah.
It was something that was noted in week 14. We're talking about week 15. I expect these young playmakers to stay in the game. One of them's getting like a lot of sacks. He had 2 sacks against the Cowboys.
Yeah.
And it's a young team, but if you're a Texans fan, it's in a losing season, you want to be able to point at things and be like, that's good. Like
that's
Justin
good for
Fields.
Next year. Yeah.
Right?
That's good for next year. That's a weapon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like you don't want to be like, oh, like I have nothing to be happy about.
They got Dameon Pierce. They got Petre on the defensive side. They had probably
Petre's him.
Yeah, that was a safety.
So the Jets jumped them to get
Garrett Wilson.
I don't think it was Garrett Wilson, but it was somebody on defense. I think it was Jermaine Johnson, the Florida State linebacker or something, defensive end. And they're like, oh, they're dumb, and they just stayed where they were put, got an extra pick, and got the stud. Petrie.
Okay.
So like it worked out for the Texans, is what I'm saying, because it was a risk whenever you let someone jump you.
And no, you're right. And like you said, they have to take things from this season to go into next year and be like, let's highlight this. Kind of like the Lions did last year coming into this season, right? Like they have weapons. So depending on their draft too, they're going to have a lot of good things to look back on, but
their draft is already, they're getting Bryce Young.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
They're getting Bryce Young. They're going to have their franchise quarterback after this draft, but
they're so damn lucky.
Because
they have Deshaun Watson with the first overall pick though. And then they get rid of him and they're like, we'll just take another Deshaun Watson, just 4 years later. Like the Denver Broncos don't lose enough games. That's the problem.
Yeah.
Is that they win just enough games to not get the best quarterback in the draft. It's like they win 5 games. They're going to pick like 7.
Well, like, know what would be funny is if they traded Russ Wilson to the Texans to get the number 1 pick.
Oh my God, they wouldn't.
Possible.
They wouldn't. No, bro, he's staying.
We're already getting too deep into the Texans. What I will say is, Patrick Mahomes has been struggling with turning the ball over as of recently. I think he had 3 interceptions last week,
only against Denver.
That defense is not. That defense is so good. Yeah, the defense is good. You're right. So it was against a very good defense.
That guy right here, Surtain.
But I don't think they struggle against the Texans, even though the Texans are coming off probably their best game of the season against the Cowboys. I don't think they really struggle. I think this is probably like I think the over-under on DraftKings, or not the over-under, but the spread is
14.
14.
Yeah.
I think they easily make that. But I also said that about the Cowboys. So,
yeah, the problem is, and this is the very last thing about, no one cares about this game. Everybody's like, yeah, Chiefs win, we get it. But I will say, Patrick Mahomes is actually under 500 against the spread in December because he's so good that they build these unrealistic spreads because, remember, the spreads are based on public opinion. So the public is the one saying, like, 14, right? Yeah. But the reality is he's under 500 because it's unrealistic what they're asking. This is still an NFL team. They had the Cowboys winning by 17 points, and they won on a last-second run by Zeke.
Yeah.
So, 14. I know you're like, I could see him doing that. I could see them doing it. I could see him not doing it. 14 is a lot to ask. You could beat a team by 10. You can beat them by 13, but a whole 2 touchdowns. I'm just going to take the Chiefs. I don't know if it's going to be any like a close of a game like the Dallas game. I don't think it will.
You don't know if it's gonna be 3 or 20.
I would say it's either gonna be like 7 or 10.
Okay.
I'm not sure like if
I can get down with that. I think
just because it's not in Kansas City. You know?
Yeah.
So their fans are like, hey, let's keep this thing rolling. We almost beat Dallas. Let's be, they got good vibes right now.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah. No, I can buy that. So let's move into our next game. We were talking about the Cowboys. Cowboys are going into Jacksonville to take on the Jaguars.
Yeah.
The Jaguars put on a hell of a show last week. The Cowboys barely scraped by the Texans, who we just talked about. Does Trevor Lawrence have another great game against the Cowboys? And do the Cowboys keep another team that is like supposed to be like way lower than them? Do they keep them close? Is this a game?
Jacksonville's fighting for a playoff spot.
They are.
If they win out their games with week 17 being another rematch against the Titans, they're into the playoffs. The problem is they're not going to beat the Cowboys because Trevor Lawrence is really good. But remember, this is like his first year because we threw away Urban Meyer year.
Yeah, we really did. And I think the entire NFL did that too.
Yeah, everybody did. There's posts that say like, should Trevor Lawrence be considered for Rookie of the Year? Like, all seriousness, like just because of like, yeah. But look, you think about a first year, there's highs and there's lows. Yeah. We're seeing the highs of just sheer talent, but we also haven't seen him go against Micah Parsons, right?
Good point.
And I just think that Dallas defense right now is actually what are they 11th, and their offense
overall.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. I thought they'd be
in the last 3 games.
Oh, okay. I can buy that.
Yep. And then their offense, though, is second in the last 3 games. So, like, I could see Jacksonville scoring enough points where the game's in the third quarter and you're watching it. But I could also see Dallas just slowly kind of pulling away. I'm not going to read too much into this Houston game. Yeah. I'm pretty sure everybody on that team's embarrassed of what happened, and they'll be ready to go to Jacksonville and just set the story back.
Yeah, no, I could see that. And you mentioned the defense. Trevor Lawrence hasn't really got. He had his best game against the Titans defense that isn't very good. They just aren't that good.
They're not. But Baltimore meant a lot.
Baltimore did mean a lot. Yeah, you're right. And I feel like that was also kind of like a letdown game by the Ravens defense. So I think Trevor Lawrence played his best game last week. Will not replicate that same performance, but again, you said they're playing for a playoff spot. The Cowboys are kind of playing for that division lead, though. They're trying to get that bye week instead of getting a 7 seed or a 5 seed, whatever.
Week 17 when they play Philly, they want that to be for all the marbles.
Yeah, and if Philly already has it, whether they lose or not, they're going to rest all the starters.
They
Dallas,
won't though if they both win out.
You're right, but I'm saying if Philly already has it secured, even with a loss, they still have the number 1 seed, or they have a bye week. It won't matter, but they're both playing for something.
Yeah, because right now, I think Philly's got 1 loss in the season, the Commanders, and Cowboys have 2, right? They only have 2. So if it gets to week 17 and the Eagles are playing the Cowboys and the Cowboys win, they would have equal records. That means that the winner goes to strength of schedule. So you'd have to see who had a tougher schedule between.
I think the Cowboys win that because I think the Eagles have had the 31st, if not the 32nd.
Easiest schedule?
No, they've had like the easiest or second easiest schedule.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So it's kind of.
So yeah, to say that game's like they're not going to be resting starters in that case, because the winner of that game not only wins the division, but that winner, if in the scenario they both win out, would be the number 1 seed and get a bye week.
That would be
so insane. That is going to be no one's sitting nobody for that if that happens.
I could see that.
It all starts in Jacksonville. I think as a Jaguar fan, you really have to manage your expectations.
Yeah.
You can't just get too high on these wins. You got to take the wins, see the growth in Trevor Lawrence, and be really happy about that, but also understand that this is a team that has a lot of young pieces and also has a lot of growing to do. And you have a Dallas team with experienced veteran leadership like Ezekiel Elliott, like Tony Pollard, like Dak Prescott, who Dak Prescott's probably on the stat sheet one of the most overrated quarterbacks in the NFL.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
But I mean, it's time for him to get Dak on track.
Yeah, Dak on track. Copyrighted pending.
But yeah, I got the Cowboys going into Jacksonville and taking care of business.
And they're not going to go into Jacksonville like they went into Houston.
No, they're not.
They're not. So,
and if they do, our episode's going to sound a lot different on Monday.
We're going to be just like, wow.
Yeah.
Let's go into the last of the morning games on Sunday. And it's going to actually be my game of the week, right? A Sunday morning game of the week. I'm going Lions at Jets.
Yep.
Lions at Jets. This is a good game. The Lions just came off a win against the Vikings, a division opponent who would have thought a 5-7 team would play a 10-2 team or something like that and be the favorites? Insane, right? So now they're going into New Jersey against the Jets, who I mean, they're good, but I mean, the defense is good. They're good on one side of the ball.
Yeah,
sorry.
You're good. Who would have thought that a 1-6 team would be a top 5 team in the NFL?
Yes, week 14.
Yeah. Weren't they on your top 5?
No.
You didn't have the Lions?
No.
Oh.
God, no.
God, no.
God, no.
Okay.
No way.
Okay.
There's 5 teams way better.
I think I'm on like Detroit's fan base good side right now, and I just want to stay there.
Stay tuned for Monday's episode with this guy. I think they go into. So, I'm going with the Lions for my game of the week, but I think Jets and Saleh, after his press conference when he was like, "Oh, we're gonna see them again," referring to the Buffalo Bills. We're going to see them again. What makes you so sure? There's something. There's a fire inside him. And I think he's going to implement it into the team this week.
And you still have Detroit winning.
And I still have Detroit winning, even as a road. I have them road warriors.
But Detroit has let us down before, right? Like, we thought they were good.
They
week
went
4.
5-1 after week 7. And they still are continuing to roll.
I love this team.
I'm saying
this team. I love Dan Campbell. I think I love Jared Goff. You know what I love about Jared Goff is that when everybody wrote him off, when one of the best offensive minds in the NFL said, "My team could be better if it weren't for you."
Yeah.
And sold him to Detroit.
Mm-hmm.
He's playing elite. Like, he's not playing good. He's not. And, it's just a dream we have to snap out of. Jared Goff is not good. He's elite. He's an elite quarterback right now. He's slinging the ball, the 3rd best offense in the NFL. And Amon St. Brown is a top 5 receiver in the NFL right now.
I agree with that.
He's the first receiver in NFL history.
Amon St. Brown?
Yes. That means Odell. That means everything Justin Jefferson's doing. All of those, crazy, amazing stats that they've been able to do.
Mm-hmm.
He's the first receiver in history. Oh, you know what?
He's finding his notes. Hold on.
It's not even my note. I retweeted it. That's how proud I was. I'm not a Lions fan, I swear. I was just so proud of it.
He swears.
I did retweet this to get a free football signed by Hayden Hutchinson.
I would take that.
I fall for it. First receiver in NFL history to accumulate at least 150 receptions and 150 rushing yards through the first 30 games of a player's career. They're using him the same way Debo's being used.
And he hasn't even done that.
He hasn't even done that.
Wow.
We haven't even caught up to it to even realize it yet.
Mm-hmm.
we're so delayed in things sometimes that it takes stat sheets to really be like, whoa, he's doing it already. But
it's because we kind of look at it, and I feel like it is the average NFL fan too, is like a receiver is catching the ball, a running back is running the ball, a quarterback is throwing the ball. But now you got like Jalen Hurts, you got Justin Fields, you got all these running quarterbacks. Justin Fields for a second there was in the top 5 of rushing in the NFL.
Yeah.
And then Debo came along last year and was like, whoa,
when
can
was
do all
Debo
sorts
drafted?
Of stuff. I don't know, actually.
Because the first 30 games is almost 2 seasons, 16-game season. So it's like just under 2 seasons.
Yeah.
So he was drafted in 2019. 150 yards doesn't seem like that much, right?
I think it's 150 yards per game.
No. Just 150 yards. Like I'm reading
rushing,
it now.
Though.
Yeah. But think about it. Every time they swing it.
No. I'm sorry. I meant the 150 receptions.
Yeah, and 150 rushing yards.
Yeah, but you could get the 150 rushing yards.
Oh, you think Debo had the rushing yards, but not the catches?
Yes. Not until maybe last year was he getting a lot.
That's fair.
Yeah.
But this is like this is Detroit's Debo. And
they found him.
He's a better receiver, maybe. Yes.
Yeah.
Debo might be a better weapon because he's like
Debo's not even
you
top
can
5
use him in so many ways
this season.
Yeah, but also who's their quarterback? Yeah. You got Brock Purdy and then Johnny Garoppolo and then Trey Lance. I mean,
Johnny.
That's what I'm saying. Jared Goff is good quarterbacks.
Yeah.
Good quarterbacks do this to receivers.
Mm-hmm.
Good quarterbacks do that. So I think that they're a scary team right now.
You taking the Lions?
Oh yeah.
Oh, let's go. Let's go.
And I'm saying the Lions are gonna only lose probably one more game this season, and they're gonna be a wild card, and they're gonna be a team that no one wants to play because by the time they're in the playoffs,
last year,
the time they're in the playoffs, they're gonna be 9-1 in their last 10 games.
That's insane. No, yeah, the last 10, yes.
Is it they're 5-1 right now?
Yes. Well, 6-1, I think technically after they beat the Vikings.
So they would be like 10-2.
Yeah,
in their last 12
something like
games.
That. Yep.
Yeah, the Lions flipped a switch.
Gonna happen.
And if there was ever a team that knew how to dust off some chalk,
who is it?
It was the 1-6 Detroit Lions that stood up and got that chalk off their pants. I'm fired up. I love this Lions team.
That's the end of the morning games on Sunday. Let's move to the afternoon games. On that note, we're going with this guy's Broncos at home against the Cardinals, against the Kyler Murray-less Cardinals, by the way. But who do you have? I think you have the Broncos. I know you got the Broncos. I do not. That's my mom, everybody. I do not know much about what you're talking about. I just want to say hi to my beautiful son, Rick. Hi, Mom.
Hi, Mom. Thanks for letting me steal him.
It was recently her birthday, so everybody in the comments, if you're watching, give her a happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
But your Broncos at home against Kyler Murray-less Cardinals. You're taking the Broncos.
Yeah, I'm taking the Broncos. The Broncos are favored to win this game.
Yeah, absolutely.
The Broncos also have Russell Wilson in concussion protocol. So
okay.
There's a lot of pending here. I don't know if they're going to play him or not. I think they might be on the conservative side just because they're out of the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
But they did sign a player. I wrote his name down. It's not a name that you would remember. So Freddie Swain. Freddie Swain is his name.
Okay.
He was a Broncos. He's a wide receiver, and he played with Russell Wilson in Seattle for the previous 2 years.
Okay.
He recorded 502 yards, 38 catches, 6 touchdowns with Seattle. So he has some rapport with Russell Wilson. And with Sutton and Kendall Hinton and Tim Patrick, this is the Broncos receiving core right now. Montrell Washington, who we drafted this year.
Never heard of him.
Jerval Virgil. It sounds like a fake name.
That sounds like a Key and Peele college football name. Jerval Gerval.
And Brandon Johnson.
Okay, that's the...
Three of them are UFAs, unrestricted free agents.
I think you're going to say UFOs. I was like, I can believe that with those names. God damn.
So then they had to bring in Freddie Swain to try to... I mean, it's tough right now.
You're just adding depth at this point.
Tough.
You're just adding depth.
This is the only thing I'll say. No Javonte Williams, though. Melvin Gordon gone. So we had to rely on Mike Boone, who is the RB3. Yep. He's on IR now. Just went on IR. Season-ending IR.
Wow.
So Now we're probably going to rely on Marlon Mack, who had that play that you guys probably saw me freaking out.
Yes, he was doing really well last week.
And then Latavius Murray. I would just say maybe Marlon Mack is going to be RB2, and they split like 50-50.
I would put him one after last week.
Yeah, but I don't know if they will, because Latavius Murray is a really good first down back
to
bring you into that, because he's just like, he'll get you 3 yards. Right. And that's really what they're trying to do, is get into a 2nd and 7, get into a 3rd and 4, make it manageable. So you don't have to get these receivers doing anything spectacular, because they're not. They're not spectacular. So I do think the Broncos are going to just, like, if you look at the numbers, Arizona is really bad, and they're just a little bit worse than the Broncos. I still think there's something that you can look at with the Broncos and be like, hey, that's good. And it's their defense. So their defense against Colt McCoy in Denver, I'll take the Broncos to edge out the Cardinals.
Edging out. We love edging out here on this podcast. I'm going to also take the Broncos. The only thing the Broncos defense has to worry about is DeAndre Hopkins, and he's going to have Colt McCoy.
How fun is that going to be?
That's what I'm saying. Surtain is going to lock him down. He's been locking down wide receivers this entire season. Colt McCoy's throwing him the ball. Colt McCoy was struggling last week. Kyler Murray is the answer quarterback for Arizona, and that's that. Colt McCoy is good for one start, maybe good for one sub. That's it. Again, Surtain is going to lock DeAndre Hopkins down, and the defense is going to feast on Colt McCoy this week. I've got the Broncos. Easy day.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. Also, I did want to mention the Mike Leach, longtime college
RIP
coach, passed away. Only football podcast. We send our condolences and everybody that's watching.
Absolutely.
All right. So what's our next game on this list?
So the next game we have up, we've got the Patriots visiting Las Vegas.
I don't like this.
I don't like this game either. They're going against the Raiders, and the Patriots had a good game last week. I believe they beat the who did they beat again? They beat somebody. The Patriots.
No, they beat the Cardinals.
The Cardinals
on Monday
and
night.
This was after Kyler Murray did go out.
It was tied when you went out, so
0-0.
No, 13-13.
No, it wasn't. They were losing.
Oh, were they?
Yeah, at least I'm pretty sure, because Kyler Murray went out earlier. You're fired. But anyway, the Patriots did beat the Cardinals with Colt McCoy. The Raiders were either on a bye or they took the L. I think they took
No. They took an L. Who did they
take
play?
An L. They took an L.
I can't remember who they played.
It was
a
Thursday night football game. It was with the
the Raiders.
So they took an L there with Baker Mayfield, Mr. 2 practice, 98 yard,
one practice,
1.5 practice, 98-yard touchdown drive to win the game against the Raiders. 2 very meh teams. That's really the best way I can put it. I don't think there's anything good to say about these teams. Although,
which one? Which Raiders team? Which Raider team shows up? Is it the Raiders that
put up like
Seattle
30+ points? Yeah,
in Seattle,
or
is it the ones that choked with 5 minutes left on? I mean, I'm gonna go with the Raiders. I'm gonna go with Devontae Carr and Devontae Adams and Derek Carr to have a big game. They're gonna have a big game, and Mac Jones ain't keeping up.
Yeah, I want to take the Raiders so bad, but like you said, they let us down. They let us down against Baker Mayfield and the Rams in the last few minutes of the game. Who knows what's going to happen? Who's going to show up? But Derek Carr, I like Derek Carr and Devontae Adams at home. I like him even better on the road, especially when they waved goodbye in overtime to the Broncos. Kyle's going to kill me for that one. But I hate
you so much.
I took the Raiders in that game, I think. I think I'm going to go with Mac Jones, actually, and Bill Belichick.
Is this our first disagreement?
No, it's like our third.
Hasn't been many, though.
Yeah, it has not been that many. So I'm taking the Patriots. I don't know. Have you got anything else on this game?
No. I don't like picking the Raiders, so don't make me do it again. I don't want to talk about this game. Let's just move on.
We're moving on to the Titans at the Chargers. The Chargers getting a win in Sunday Night Football against the Miami Dolphins, and the Titans taking that L against the Jaguars in just terrible fashion. I don't really know much to say about this game either, other than I think the Chargers take it, especially at home.
Tennessee's defense is ranked 30th in the last 3 games. They're depleted with injuries, and if Mike Vrabel can't get the defense and run game going, you see what this team is. They have nothing. They can't lean on anything. So
they're nothing without Derrick Henry.
They're nothing without Derrick Henry, and they're definitely nothing without a defense, because you can't even, even if you could run the ball, if you got no defense, you're in a shootout. You don't want to run the ball in a shootout.
Yeah.
So, I'm going to go with the Chargers at home. The Titans just
Ugh.
There is a scenario.
Ugh.
There's a scenario where Mike Vrabel fixes it. He's a good coach.
Yeah.
And I don't think Staley is. And I could see a scenario where they get back on track so they don't lose the division.
Okay.
Because it's getting to that point where it's like, hey, if you guys want to play in the playoffs, you got to win. You got to win now. Okay, no more dicking around. So I think there's a scenario. I would not be totally shocked if they beat the Chargers. And I also think we're really high in the Chargers because they beat the Dolphins.
Yeah.
But the Chargers have been really
They've been up and down. Yeah. They've been up and down.
And I mean,
he's thinking. Oh, he's looking at his sheet.
Give me the Chargers.
No, he's taking the Chargers. I knew it. Next game up, we've got the Bengals.
My mind's telling me no.
My mind's telling me no, but my body. My body. R. Kelly, I'm glad you're in jail. Bengals at the Bucks. Joe Burrow versus Tom Brady. In with the out with the old, in with the new. I say the Bucks are done. The Bucks are done. Week 14 proved that. The Bucks are done. Their offense is anemic. Their defense is not that good anymore. They have nothing going for them. Brady came back for nothing. And it's unfortunate because he's still going to play one more season. With who? Who knows? It's not going to be the Bucks. That's for sure. Give me the Bengals all day. I'm not sure if Joe Mixon is back, but P. Ryan is good. Joe Burrow with Jamar Chase. Give me that all day. Bengals take a win in Tampa Bay against the Bucks. Kyle.
The Cincinnati Bengals are the 12th ranked offense in the last 3 games. They got Jamar Chase back. And I do believe that them being the 12th ranked offense is the only 12 that's going to matter.
I like it. I like it. I like it. I like it.
So forget about that TB 12. Give me the offense ranked 12. I got Joe Burrow to keep it rolling. And I actually got this. I picked this Bengals team to win the division.
Yeah.
And they're on track to do it. They just got to keep winning one game at a time. And it's always Tom Brady. I feel like we're a broken record. We're like, this is who I picked. But I wouldn't be shocked.
I mean, Tom Brady. It's Tom Brady.
Anything could happen.
It's just history, though. It's football. It's
like, this is why people watch the NFL.
We gotta take it.
This isn't Alabama versus Appalachian State. Like, this is no.
Appalachian State. Alabama.
They're like, all right, yeah.
Like, these guys are on crack.
But you get it. Like, it's every game. There's a scenario where you could be like, there's only like usually 3 games where like I know what I'm doing and I'm not even thinking about it.
Yeah.
I've done this already. I've given Tampa Bay credit.
Yeah.
I've believed in them. I've said Tom Brady's going to get it together. The division's at stake. The playoffs are at stake. He didn't come back to not make the playoffs. Give me Tom Brady. I'm done with it. I'm going to take a consistent team.
Yep.
That is like 8-1 in their last 9 games or something crazy like that. Whatever they're doing right now, it's working. They're getting the ball moving. They got their weapons back. And defensively, 6th ranked defense in the last 3 games. Yeah. 6th ranked defense, dude.
Bengals podcast. We're a Bengals podcast now.
Would you have thought that the Bengals defense the last 3 games is the 6th ranked defense points allowed?
I would have not. Honestly, I would not have thought, because their defense, I would say maybe top 15 defense, really like top half.
Yeah.
But nothing more than that. 6 to say they're 6th in points. That's impressive.
They're going to win a lot of games with Joe Burrow with a 6th ranked defense.
They are. And if they only get better from here, like.
Yeah, they're starting to click.
They're so good. They're so
on
good.
defense, which means the team is starting to click on all phases.
And I think I said it a while ago. They're going to be the Pittsburgh Steelers to the Chiefs, Patriots into the Bills, Colts of like years past.
Yep, that's going to be our like that. I think he'll be like our Drew Brees because I think Drew Brees.
I can see that too.
I think Drew Brees always played on like teams that were not like very gifted versus Manning and Tom Brady always had like weapons.
They had great
and
teams.
You think about the Bengals and you're like, that's like the New Orleans of New Drew Brees' era.
Yeah, when he had a Cole, what was his name? Marquise.
Oh, Marquise Colston.
Marquise Colston, yeah. So that's his Jamar Chase. Really. That's his number one guy. He's going to him, right?
Well, Jamar Chase is elite. So
no, he's elite. That's what I'm saying. But that's like his number one guy. That's probably going to be his like number one weapon
or from here on out. Thomas.
Or Michael Thomas too. Yeah, but this is
they're in Tampa. Does that change anything for you?
No, not at all.
Not at all.
Not at all.
The cannon's going off.
I mean, they don't go off all the time. That's if the Bucs score. They have to score for the cannons to go off.
They're
not scoring. They're not scoring. They're going field goals all day.
No cannons on Sunday.
Yeah, that Bucs offense is just. So let's move on to Sunday Night Football, and this is actually a good one. Although, this is going to be a tough one. We have Giants going to the Capitol, taking on the Commanders. Kyle. Commanders or Giants, man? This is a weird one too. This is almost like a don't touch it, but it's not.
2 weeks ago, the Washington Commanders played the Giants.
Yep.
We don't see this in the NFL very often. Giants, Commanders. The game ends. The Commanders take a bye week. They come out of the bye week. They play the Giants. Like this is just. It's funny. It's like when the Bills went to Detroit twice in 2 weeks. Like, Besides, they didn't play the Lions twice.
What is going on? Yeah, that's true. That's true. They did beat the Giants.
Yeah.
Too. They've already beat them.
So, they tied.
They tied. Sorry, yes.
My don't touch it tied. That's what you get here. That's the product that we're delivering.
Impressive. That was impressive.
This time it's different. The Washington Commanders are going to win the game. Right now, the Giants in the last 3 games are ranked 14 in offense, which is not terrible.
No, not bad.
But they have the 32nd ranked defense in the last 3 games. I think that the Commanders are going to be able to move the ball on that defense that's playing at the worst level in the NFL. And then their offense is 17th. If you have you're not going to get into a shootout with a 32nd ranked defense, right? Because their offense is, I mean, I could see this being a close game, but I'll take the Commanders by 3.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the Commanders too. The Giants are getting to that point where I think I said it last episode. They're looking like the 2020 Bears where they started off hot and you're like, oh, what the hell happened?
Yeah.
Like the Bears are good.
Yeah, they were like 5-0, 6-0.
And it was just like, the wins they came around to were kind of like, okay, well, I mean, they won, but I mean, it was a weird game, right? That's what the Giants are right now. And they're going to lose to the Commanders. The Commanders are at home. They're coming off a bye week. They're coming off a tie with the Giants. The Giants are going to come fourth in the NFC East after a lot of people thought they were going to come in at least second. They weren't really.
I called it.
You did. They weren't really going to compete with the Eagles, I think, for first place in the division.
No.
But they were going to go to second. A lot of people thought those first 5 games, Dable were like, wow, Dable's coach of the year. That is not the case anymore.
Well, I said
Commanders are better.
I said he still was no matter what.
I think he's a candidate. I don't think he's going to win.
You can't fall apart, though, to still be.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like, you can't do that. You really have to just be consistent.
I said if they went 500 in their last half, that he would be considered for his start.
I would even put it. Go ahead. Sorry.
No, I was just going to say, but I don't think he's going to finish 500. That's the problem.
No, because I think I would even put a number for Coach of the Year on losses. And that would be 5 games. You could lose 5 games
and still be coach.
And you still be Coach of the Year.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
Actually.
Yeah. 5 games. That's kind of the max. There's really not much to say. The Giants have Saquon. Daniel Jones has a good couple runs here and there. He doesn't do anything crazy with his arm, though. I think after this year, they start off hot. They're going to move on from him next year. They're going to either draft somebody, trade somebody. I don't know who their backup is, but whatever. Like, they're probably going with that guy next year. What I will say is Taylor Heineke, Carson Wentz is back. Taylor Heineke is number 1 still in the coach's what the coach said in his press conference.
Yeah.
So Heineke riding that hot hand, he's going to lead them to a win. So I got the Commanders taking this one, and we both agree. Commanders. All right. Final game of week 15. We got Monday Night Football. We've got the Rams with Baker Mayfield going into Lambeau Field, taking on the Packers, Aaron Rodgers, Christian Watson. But Baker Mayfield, Van Jefferson, they had a nice little connection there for that touchdown there at the end of Thursday Night Football for the win. Who are you taking in this one? I feel like it's the Packers. Come on, right?
I'm going to take the Packers.
Yeah, I knew it.
No, I mean, it's Monday Night Football.
Yeah.
Aaron Rodgers plays different on primetime. And last time we saw him on primetime, I wasn't wrong. They had a chance at the end to beat the Eagles, lost by 7. I think that Aaron Rodgers, now that he has Watson as the clear number 1 guy, and you still have their other wide receiver, I'm drawing a blank right now. It's like 4 letters.
Lazard?
Not Lazard.
I know who you're talking about. I think he's hurt though.
Is he hurt?
Yeah.
I still see the Packers getting away. Like, you look at the Rams, and even though that's probably going to go down as like, that's an NFL moment, what happened. And that will live like through history.
It is. It's going to, yeah.
I still think though, that'll be like played anytime a player joins a new team and plays like.
Is he going to pull a Baker?
Yeah.
With the Rams?
It's going to be what it's called, pulling a Baker.
Yeah, pulling a Baker.
Which is great for Baker and the Rams. But you still have to remember, I was going to say that it took till the last 5 minutes to get points, but there was opportunities left out on the field with penalties and fumbles.
Absolutely.
I think the Rams could get into a ball game with the Packers, but I'm going to have the Packers winning it at home. I mean, it's Lambeau in December.
Yeah.
And the lights are on. I'll take the Packers. Team coming from Los Angeles. They're not ready for that.
They're not ready for cheese and snow.
They're not ready for negative 27 at halftime.
They're not. I predict 2 Christian Watson Lambeau leaps this game.
Wow.
2 Christian Watson Lambeau leaps. So if you have Christian Watson on your fantasy team for the playoffs, make sure to play him in this game. The Packers are winning this game at home, like you said, in December in Lambeau against a team who has a quarterback who has had a week and a half of practice. And yes, Thursday night, he had that miracle drive. I say miracle because there's no way he does the same thing. I think he gets pulled after halftime.
No way. Are you serious?
I think Baker Mayfield gets pulled for such a terrible game that he's going to play. Look, what happened last week was awesome. It was great to see. And like we said, you're going to pull a Baker. You're on the team for a week, blah, 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 right? They're going to start him with that high. You want to talk about victim of the moment. Sean McVay is going to be a victim of the moment because he's going to think he's a genius because he brought in Baker Mayfield for that. Baker Mayfield's going to play so bad. They're going to take him out after halftime. They're going to put it in Wolford.
No.
And I think the Packers win by 2 scores.
No.
Yeah. Chew on that.
I don't think so. I mean, it's one thing I will say 74% of bets that have been placed on this game have picked the Packers. Only 26% of people have gone with the Rams. And I think people admire what they saw against the Rams, but at the end of the day, they're looking at this Packers team who, for most people think like, hey, if the Packers were playing in the beginning of the season the way that they just started playing, this division would look a lot different. And even if the Packers weren't, up to Minnesota's level, they still would be competing for a wild card spot. And mathematically, they're not eliminated. I mean, sure, they need a lot to happen. What is their record? I believe they're 5-7. Yeah, 5-7. So if they finish the game 6, 7, 8, 9, and 7, could they make a wild card spot? Maybe. I mean, we expect the teams that are in the wild card spot to start losing. We got Detroit losing. We got Washington potentially losing after they beat the Giants.
Yeah.
Right? Because guess what? The Commanders and Giants have been in the wild card picture for a while, but that's because they keep playing each other. Eventually, they're going to go lose to other better teams.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So the Packers, they're going to go out there, with their, slinging. And no, I'm talking about his arm slinging.
Oh, yes.
God, you're disgusting.
I am.
But they got the Rams, Dolphins, Vikings, and Lions. So you look at the Vikings and the Dolphins and even the Lions, and you're like, those are tough. This is their last. Yeah. This is their last easy game. They can't nuke it or destroy it. They can't afford to lose the only winnable game
for the rest of the year.
Exactly, for the rest of the season.
Yeah. All right, well, that was our Week 15 picks. Let's move on to a segment that we like to call I'm Rich, bitch. This is where Kyle and I are giving you. Oh, it's still going. Oh, it's still going. Oh, it's still going. I'm Rich, bitch. This is a segment, Kyle and I think it's in its third week, right?
It is.
Where we like to give you our betting picks, and we've got 4 sections for the I'm Rich, bitch segment. It is best spread, underdog of the week, don't touch it, which we mentioned earlier, and our bet of the week. So, Kyle, week 15, let's start off with our best spread. Who are you taking for best spread, or do you want me to go first?
I'll let you go first.
All right. Well, I'm taking the Broncos -3 against the Cardinals, right? That's who they're playing.
Thanks,
they're playing.
Man.
This isn't to say that I'm trusting the offense, because I'm not trusting the Broncos offense. I wouldn't touch the Broncos offense with a 10-foot pole. I'm trusting their defense to get a couple defensive scores, if not at least one. He's so mad at me. I've just been going in on the Broncos, but I still have them to win. I still got them to win. So I'm taking the best spread, Broncos -3. They're going to win by a score, if not 10 points in this game. Kyle, your best spread of week 15.
My best spread of the week. Oh, crap. I just deleted an accident. Hold on. And just so everybody knows, we're using DraftKings. So DraftKings, if you get a hold of this with all of the momentum that Only Football's been building, please sponsor us. We would love it.
Give us that DraftKings money.
I'm going to go with the Cowboys. The Cowboys-Jags game is only at -4.
Oh, wow.
I think the Cowboys win the game by more than 4 points. I think this is what people do. They get super high on teams, and they get crazy low on them. I mean, just remember, Detroit was, what was it? They were favored to lose by 17 points to the Bills.
Really?
And it was a 3-point game. And then after that, the Jags beat Baltimore. And then Baltimore played Detroit, and it was like Detroit was favored to beat them by, like, it just moves so.
It's such a weird.
It's so like to the left and then so to the right.
Such a weird year, yeah.
Like if Dallas and Jacksonville would have played last week, could you imagine -4? It would have been like -14.
Oh yeah.
And like 1 week, because Jacksonville has one game and Dallas has one bad game. It's like the perfect combo to bring it in. One bad week brings this closer. One good week brings this closer. And now it's your time to jump. Get that -4. Dallas wins by 7 or more.
There you go. Best spreads of the week from me and Kyle. Let's move on to the next one. Underdog of the week. I've got the Lions +1 heading into, where is it? God, I'm such an idiot. We got the Lions. Oh my God. Why can't I find it?
Oh, the Lions. I got it.
Oh, Lions at Jets. They're in Jersey. Underdog of the week. They're
technically
+1.
They are favored.
Are they technically favored?
Technically, it's one of those ones where the line is so close that it's -105. Like they're both technically favored to win.
Oh, really?
Like, yeah.
But the spread, I think, is what I'm kind of looking at,
+1.
right? Yeah. So it's close, but they're still technically, because of the spread, underdog. So I'm taking the Lions in this one.
You're right.
Yeah, I'm taking the Lions in this one. +1. They're beating the Jets 100%.
Yeah, I would totally say that too, but that's not fun.
That's not fun. It's not fun.
So I'm going to go with the game that I said I wouldn't be shocked if it happens, and that's Tennessee.
You're taking
beating
Titans.
the Chargers. Like I took the Chargers on my predictions, but if somebody was like, "Hey, you have to pick an underdog on the spread, and it can't be Detroit," I would go straight to the Titans game.
What's their plus?
They are +130.
Oh, okay. +130. Okay. I like it. So that's underdog of the week. We got the Lions and the Titans. All right, Kyle. Don't touch it. Or don't touch it, bet. Don't look at it. Don't touch it. Don't even look at us touching it and looking at it.
Yes.
I'm going with the Titans and Chargers, actually.
Really?
I don't like that game at all. I don't like any part of that game. Even the underdog being the Titans. In the Chargers, again, these two teams are like kind of like what you said about the Raiders. Which team are you going to get on either side?
Right.
Are the Chargers going to actually do
Charger?
as well? Yeah. Are they going to Charger, and are they actually going to do well like they did against the Dolphins? Is Tannehill going to be able to throw? Is Derrick Henry actually going to be able to rush the ball for 200 plus yards and get a couple scores? Who knows? That's why I'm saying don't touch the Titans at the Chargers. Kyle.
Yeah, mine's the Baltimore-Cleveland game.
Oh, okay.
Divisional game in Cleveland, Baltimore, better schedule. Deshaun Watson just starting, getting into stride. Who's playing quarterback? Don't even take on this headache. Don't touch it. Don't look at it. Did you play it? Did you play the?
No, we don't have it.
We don't have
it. We don't have it.
I'll do it for you. Don't touch it. Don't sing about touching it. Don't think about touching it. Don't sing about thinking about touching it. Don't touch it.
All right, that was our don't touch it. I had Titans at Chargers. Kyle had Ravens at the Browns. Let's move on to bet of the week. Bet of the week for me, Rams at Packers. Bet the over 39.5.
Oh,
it's
really?
happening. It's happening. It's happening. Even though I've got Baker sitting, it's good. I have Christian Watson scoring 2 touchdowns. Who knows what's going to happen with the Rams if Baker at least gets a touchdown but gets like 2-3 interceptions. I don't know. I think you bet the over because I think the Packers, like you said, take advantage of a game before they have a rough last 3 games. 3 games. So I think they take advantage of this and just go all out with Christian Watson and Aaron Rodgers.
Okay, I totally agree. Mine, I'm doing this for the folks that are like, man, I just need a little extra holiday cash, and I don't got much money to be betting. I can't be betting. Hold on. Take the Eagles, the Cowboys, the Niners, the Bills, the Lions, the Broncos, the Bengals, and the Commanders. Parlay those bad boys and do a little 8-ball, or that doesn't sound right.
We get it. You've been to Miami. We get it. You've been to Miami. We get it.
Put $10 on it because it pays out $285.
You heard it. Name those teams one more time, Kyle, just so everybody can get it, or hit rewind.
You got the Eagles over the Bears. You got the Cowboys over the Jags. You got the Niners over the Hawks. You got the Bills over the Dolphins. You got the Lions over the Jets. You got the Broncos over the Cardinals. The Bengals over the shitty Bucks, and the Commanders at home against the Giants.
8-game parlay. That's
all
Kyle's
those teams
bet of the week.
Are favored to win. You're not being really ballsy in it, but it's the NFL, so anything can happen. But you throw 10 on it, win 300. Can't be mad about that. You could throw 10 for 30 weeks straight and lose, and if it only hit once, you'd break even like that.
So we got Tony Football in the comments. I'm not touching Giants versus Commanders from Tony Football.
Hey, that's fair.
That is fair. They're going to tie again.
That.
I swear to God, if there's 2 ties in the NFL.
It doesn't ruin the parlay.
Oh, okay.
If it ties, they just cancel it out.
There you go.
DraftKings does. I don't know what the other ones do. Because some of them are like, you lost, and just like, no, I didn't. I tied.
You're like, I actually tied. But all right, so that was week 15. That was my best bet of the week is Raiders over the Patriots. That's a good one. I like that one.
You can see it happening. Yeah. Totally.
I mean, I got the Patriots. I think you've got the Raiders, but if you want to bet, go with Tony Football. That's why his name is Tony Football.
Oh, yeah.
Now, let's move into Defensive Player of the Year discussion. I think Kyle and I have pretty much got it down to 2 players. And I think the rest of the NFL does too. You guys watching probably do as well. And one of them is Micah Parsons, while the other one is Kyle.
Nick Bosa.
Nick Bosa.
Like, who the hell are these guys?
I thought we were going with a Jack Sanborn from the Chicago Bears.
Jack Sandbag.
So we've got Micah Parsons, 12 sacks, 22 QB hits, 49 QB pressures. On the other side with Nick Bosa, we've got 14.5 sacks, 35 QB hits, 52 QB pressures via next-gen stats. Who, Kyle, do you have for DPOY, Defensive Player of the Year this year, 2022? Oh, he's thinking. He is thinking right now.
I just want to say the 49ers defense is so good.
Yeah.
It could be why a player gets more pressures. Like the year that Von Miller had Elvis Dumervil on the other side, Von Miller was able to get a lot more sacks. And we had DeMarcus Ware.
Mm-hmm.
numbers will be inflated the better the defense is. And you see what happens to Aaron Donald when he's the only like guy in their double team, and he's not even being discussed this year.
Yeah, he's a non-factor.
So it's not just about like what players better, but it's what players making the biggest impact on their team. Like who's playing the best football. Like Nick Bosa's numbers are better. He's got 14.5 sacks. He's got 2.5 more sacks. He's got 13 more QB hits, and he's got 3 more pressures, and he's played 1.5 games less because he had an injury for a game and a half. So I look at it and I think, well, they're probably going to give it to Nick because of the numbers and how good. I mean, being the number 1 overall defense is really important.
Yeah.
And everything the Niners are doing. But I'll challenge you to think about the Cowboys and what their defense is this year and think about how Micah Parsons has totally transformed what the Dallas Cowboys are known for and the just kind of the environment. You know, like he came into that team and the Cowboys are the best defensive team that they've been most of my life. In my past memory, I don't remember being like the Cowboys. They've always had a 22nd ranked defense. Yeah. And Des Bryant, and they relied on these shootouts with the Packers, right?
Really good offense.
Micah Parsons changed the identity of the Dallas Cowboys, and I'm not sure. I'm not sure you can put a price tag on that, and I wouldn't be surprised if they award him, even though Nick Bosa's stats are impressive as shit. I mean, 14.5 sacks. And he missed a game and a half. I mean, he's on track to get probably 19, 20 sacks this season. Not even playing a full season schedule. So I'm gonna go with Micah Parsons. I like Nick Bosa a lot though. Yeah. I think he's hilarious and I love hearing him mic'd up. It's like the greatest thing.
I like it too.
He's a nerd.
And I think I agree. And I think Micah Parsons is a huge reason why we're looking at Trayvon Diggs on that secondary and why he's getting so many interceptions. Because I've kind of had a similar experience with the Bears of 2018. And even like you go back when I was a kid and it was 2006 Bears defense. Yeah. They had a lot of turnovers. Why? Because their defensive ends, their linebackers are rushing, getting to the quarterback, giving them the least amount of time to let plays develop, to really make a calculated throw. And I think that's why Trayvon Diggs on the Cowboys is getting as many interceptions as he has, not only last year, but this year as well. I think he's top 5 in interceptions. I may be wrong.
I know he was last year. And he gets burned a lot, but he has really good makeup speed.
He does, and he does go for the ball a lot. So
he used to play receiver.
Okay.
Because he wanted to. Him and his brother were both receivers, and then he switched to corner. But he's still like that's why
he best hands then.
Yeah, that's why he has really good hands, but he does get burned. But he has really good makeup speed because he's very fast.
And look, both of these guys make their defenses better. Nick Bosa on the San Francisco 49ers is huge in that defense. Micah Parsons, though, in his only his second year, is like humongous too. Yeah. Right? What's the difference between these two? Not only the numbers, but I think who they have behind them. Talked about Trayvon Diggs. The 49ers, their secondary isn't that great. I really can't name anybody off the secondary.
Yeah, that's weird,
isn't it? It's really their front four. They're linebackers who really make got them sold. Who really make a huge difference getting to the quarterback, pressuring, causing turnovers, getting sacks. I think that's why Nick Bosa has more. But I will say the scariest defense, if you're a quarterback, is the 49ers. But I think the more complete defense, mainly because of the front seven, is the Cowboys. And I think I got to give it to Micah Parsons this year for Defensive Player of the Year.
I mean,
good.
Just look at points per game, though.
You like that?
Well, you're like the more complete defense. No, I'm not doing that. Like the more complete defense is the best defense. I don't care if you know their names or not.
That's not necessarily.
You can't just be like, I don't know their names and I know Diggs. Cowboys.
Cowboys win.
This is like, and we don't stage our arguments. This is organic, and I actually
organic.
I love it because there's a scenario where we could have agreed on this.
Yeah.
But not the way you did it. Like, I don't know the guys on San Francisco. And you're right. I don't know a lot of their plays either. There are a lot of young guys. But their culture of defense, they're number 1 in the NFL. and they've been number one all season.
No,
not
the
with points.
Were number one.
They were, but they were like 16.2, 16.4, and then the Broncos gave, and they've been consistent.
Yeah.
And they had a game without him. Micah Parsons, we haven't seen Nick Bosa have a game where he wasn't like, where's Nick Bosa? You know?
Yeah.
Micah Parsons had that game against Houston.
Okay.
He just had it.
Okay.
And I don't know. I think they're going to give it to Nick Bosa.
I'm just saying.
Because they're going to say, okay, the stats are all better. Mm-hmm. You know, I wouldn't be surprised if whoever gets their team further is the guy that wins.
Well, I mean, in the regular season?
No, the postseason.
They don't take playoffs into consideration for these awards.
What do you mean? It's given, the awards given the week before the Super Bowl.
Right, but they're voted at the end of the regular season.
Are they? Are they?
I trust the NFL. Roger Goodell.
I don't
Give
trust
me that
Roger
money,
Goodell.
baby. I don't know. Look, I don't know. That's what's said.
I want to know what you guys think.
Yeah,
let us know what you guys
think. Let us
think.
know in the comments who you think. If it's going to be Nick Bosa, if it's going to be Micah Parsons. And if you don't know anybody else in the secondary of 49ers, then it's going to be Micah Parsons, just like I said. That pissed off Kyle. He's like, I agree, but not that way. Anything else on Defensive Player of the Year? I don't really know anyone else. I mean, TJ Watt maybe, but he was hurt for a couple weeks there, so I think that kind of, I don't want to say disqualifies.
No, TJ Watt's out.
Yeah, but it doesn't disqualify him, but it's just like there's not enough.
Doesn't disqualify him, but it's like, look at that. That's it.
Those two guys are it. Those two guys are it. Yeah.
And there's like, if there was a DraftKings for like the winner will be either, Nick Bosa or Micah Parsons, like it would be like minus like 15,000. It'd be like bet 20,000 to win $1. Like that's how like sure I am. That one of these two is gonna win.
Well, let us know what you think in the comments, or if you're hearing this on a podcast, hit us up on Twitter. Obviously, up there you got our Twitters. Oh wait, you're listening to the podcast. We'll tell you at the end where to let us know on Twitter. But
such a child.
Let's move on to our final segment. So you're telling me there's a chance we're going to go over all the teams outside of the playoff picture right now and see which one has the chance.
You want to just rattle off who's in it really quick?
I'll go AFC first. So we've got the titles. We've got the division title winners. We got, as of right now, this isn't set in stone, right? So we got the Bills, the Chiefs, the Ravens, and the Titans. 5, 6, and 7 seeds are the Bengals, Dolphins, Patriots. Now, here are the teams with a chance. LA Chargers with a 7-6 record. Jets with a 7-6 record. The Jaguars with a 5-8 record. And I think that's as far as I'll go. We'll just go to the top 3 for
and the Bears chance. With the – no, I'm kidding. The Bears, Broncos, and Texans are the only teams eliminated. I don't want to talk about it.
I don't want to talk about it.
Why'd you bring it up?
Yeah, I brought it up. So, out of all these teams, well, let's go with the bottom 3, the Chargers, the Jets, and the Jaguars. Who do you think has the best chance to sniff a wild card? And I think it's a pretty easy answer, but I'll let you go first on this one. Is it the Chargers? Is it the Jets? Or is it the Jaguars? It's not that hard.
If it's well, it could be.
I mean, it could
be hard.
Sure.
The Chargers lose, the Jets win, and now it's not a conversation anymore.
That's a good point. That's a good point.
I'm going to go with the Chargers.
Okay.
Because they're playing a Tennessee team that's just not doing well.
Mm-hmm.
And when you look at the wild card spot, the top wild card spot, there's 3 available, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the top one is a 9-4 team. I'll just leave that alone because I don't have the Bengals losing.
Me neither. Yeah.
And then I look at the Dolphins and I expect them to lose. So they go to 8-6. Chargers win and go to 7-6. And the Chargers just beat the Dolphins, so they got the head on head.
Mm-hmm.
So now they're in the playoff picture.
Okay.
So I'm going to go with the Chargers just because this is something that by our next episode, the Chargers are not like there's a chance. The Chargers are in the playoffs, and then we'll see if there's any other teams with a chance. This is a big week for Los Angeles.
I don't know. We said it last week. I feel like week 14 was like that week where it's like we're either like the fact that we don't know what the playoff picture is actually looking like, and we don't know what some division winners are not looking like. It's insane. But I will say I do give the Chargers the best chance to sniff the playoffs and to get a wild card and not the Patriots, who are number 7 right now in that AFC East. I think the Chargers overtake the Patriots. I think you're looking at the Bengals and Dolphins and the Chargers as the wild card going into the playoff wild card round.
So you think the Dolphins, they lose on Sunday, but they do enough at the end of the season to not lose their spot?
Yeah, I just can't see 3 teams from the AFC East going in, and the Patriots being that 3rd team, and even the Jets being that the other team from the AFC East not making the playoffs. I can't see 3 teams. I can see the Dolphins, and I can see the Bills, and I can also see the Chargers going in from that AFC West, joining the Chiefs there. But yeah, man, I mean, the Bengals might even win the division, and all of a sudden we're talking about the Ravens with a 5 seed, right? So you never know. But out of the 3 there on the outside looking in, I've got the Chargers. Staley gets another, or maybe his first playoff appearance with Justin Herbert. I think he fumbles the bag, but I mean, I think they make the playoffs for sure. 7 seed.
Well, here's the problem.
You're the problem
with the Dolphins. They're playing the Bills, right? That's an L.
Yep.
Okay. Then they're playing the Packers. You want to give them a win?
That's a dub.
Okay, that's a dub. So then they're theoretically 9-6.
Okay.
So if the Patriots beat the Raiders and then they win their following week, you got 2 teams in the division that are 9-6.
Okay.
The next week, those 2 teams that are 9-6, the Patriots and the Dolphins, play each other.
Dolphins are winning that.
Dolphins win that? Well, if they don't, they're in trouble because then they're playing the Jets.
Yeah, but ifs and buts were candy and nuts, we'd all have a Merry Christmas.
I'm trying to be serious right now. No, my point is that the Dolphins don't have an easy stretch. They're going to play a Patriots team who is going to be playing for the playoff spot.
Right.
They're going to play a Jets team. Are going to be doing the same thing.
Yeah.
Right? This is the thing about the Dolphins, Jets, and Patriots. They're all very close within each other. These are all going to be hard games, and they're definitely taking an L to the Bills. And I don't know. I think the Packers are going to win on Christmas.
Christmas.
I think they lose to the Bills, and then they
Merry Christmas.
They lose to Christmas, and then
Merry Chrysler.
I think they lose on Christmas, and then
Happy Christmas.
So they're gonna lose to the Bills, right?
Yeah.
And then they get upset on, and then after it's like slowly getting less and less, and then I don't know what we're talking about.
I can't take the talent. I cannot take the talent from Patriots over the Dolphins.
I can't either.
I can't.
But I can take Bill Belichick over. This is what I was trying to say about the Dolphins and the Bills. Right now they lost 2 in a row. So now it almost feels like every time they take the field, it's like we need to
they have to
there's
win.
So much pressure.
Yeah.
And I've seen the Broncos play with that pressure.
Yeah.
And that's when you fumble snaps and drop punts. And that's when you're just you're out of rhythm. You're out of sorts.
Yeah.
It's like every time you snap the ball, it's like, this has got to be a play. I got to make something happen to get everyone to believe again. And once they lose to the Bills, they're on a 3-game skid. They're going to be in their head. And then they got a quick turnaround with the Packers. Maybe they get a win then.
Yeah.
But if they don't, they're not going to be even in the hunt. Or they'll be in the hunt, but they won't be in the playoff picture. And then the Jets, they're going to be like, oh, let me jump on this opportunity to be a team while they're down. Because you heard the Jets head coach. We're going to see him again. I think his team's going to be ready to win that game. But Miami's got so many weapons, it's hard to look past it.
It is.
But this is what we want, man. Here we are in December. We have no idea what's going to happen.
Yeah,
none.
That's the beautiful part of this game, and the just the uncertainty that this season has become. You know, I sound like a broken record continually saying that over this past season, but it's just facts.
It's the NFL.
So let's move on to the NFC. Who's on the outside looking in? So you're telling me there's a chance. Talking Seahawks at 7-6. Lions 6-7, and the Packers, team that you like for some reason, 5-8, third in the NFC North. The 5, 6, and 7 seeds. We're looking at the Cowboys, the Commanders, and the Giants, all from the NFC East, currently in the playoff picture, along with the Eagles, who've already clinched the playoff spot at not number 1, but at a playoff spot. I'm pretty sure they're going to get number 1, but. Does the entire NFC East make the playoffs, Kyle?
No.
Who's out?
The Giants are out and the Commanders are out.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
The Commanders were a team we were talking about making the playoffs at a 7 or a 6.
Totally. The only teams in are the Eagles and Cowboys.
I like that.
And you know what? Maybe one of those teams could make it.
Okay.
So, but remember, the Seahawks have the same record.
Mm-hmm.
So
7-6.
If these two teams lose, right? Obviously, they can't next week. They're playing each other. But the winner of this game will just literally just do this, right? Mm-hmm. Unless the Seahawks win, and then they're out. Yep. The loser of Sunday's game between the Giants and Commanders, if Seattle wins, is out of the playoffs.
I would go even as far as to say the loser of that Commanders-Giants game is not going to make the playoffs.
Yeah, that's pretty much what I'm saying.
I like it.
And I got the Lions. I got the Lions. They're what, 2 games back right now?
Yeah.
They're 1 game back. They're 1.5 because they're
7-6.
Yeah. 7-6, 6-7.
6-7, yeah.
Lions are 1 game back. They're definitely playing better than the Seahawks, Giants, and Commanders.
They are.
Let me get the Commanders and Lions
joining the Cowboys in those wild card spots. I have to agree. I don't think the Seahawks. I think we already had them losing this week.
Wait, you have the Cowboys in the wild card?
Cowboys. Well, they're number 5.
No, but like by the end of the season.
Oh well, yeah, they're not taking over Philly.
You don't think so?
Their division? No way. There's no way. The Cowboys are 10-3. Philly has already clinched a playoff spot at 12-1. So they're just 2 games ahead of them with what is that? 4 weeks left. There's no. I don't think there's any way. The Cowboys have shown struggles. The only time the Phillies have only lost the Commanders. They've had struggles and wins, but the Cowboys have had struggles and losses. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And they struggled against the Texans for Christ's sake.
The Eagles will lose against the Bears on Sunday.
No, they won't.
So that's 1.
No,
and then
I want them to lose, but I don't think
they're going to lose against the Bears. They're going to lose against the Bears. And then after that, they're playing the Cowboys. And the winner of that the winner of that game will take the division. So what you're saying is great and all, but once the Bears win, none of this is going to matter because the Cowboys are playing the Eagles next week. I got the Cowboys winning as well, but I got the Eagles winning the division. It's worth bringing up.
I can't see the Eagles having a losing record in the last 4 games and the Cowboys having a winning record. I can't see that. The
Eagles have a pretty easy stretch here.
They have the easiest schedule in the NFL.
They have the Giants.
From what I've seen.
Yeah.
Like NFL.com. I've got the Cowboys at number 5.
Saints.
I've got Saints.
That's the Eagles stretch.
That's what I'm saying, dude. There's no way they have a losing record.
Unless they lose to the Bears.
Unless they lose to the
Bears.
Cowboys. Take it to the bank. Eagles are losing to the Bears. Take it to the bank. And if you fail, blame Kyle. So I've got one of two. I think it's more the Commanders taking number 6 or 7. And yes, I've got the Lions coming in too.
Do?
They're 6-7. I think they're going to get the 7th seed for the wild card. I think Aiden Hutchinson balls out in his wild card game. The Lions lose, and they end up losing to, I believe, who is it? The one of the 49ers or the Bucks. Might even be the Carolina Panthers, depending on how the Bucks win. Finish the season. So
you got the Lions losing one of their stretches?
No. I got the Lions going into the playoffs at a number 7 seed. Number 6 seed will be the Commanders. Number 5 will be the Cowboys, and the Lions will play one of either
I think the 2 seed
Vikings or 49ers. Sorry, one of those. I think they play one of those teams.
So the Lions would be the 7th seed, the very last seed.
Yeah. So they
would play the 2 seed.
So they play the Vikings.
It would be Lions Vikings.
That's insane. That's an NFC North matchup right there.
And the Lions would win.
You haven't had that since the Bears Packers in 2011 or 2012 when they met in the NFC Championship.
Yeah.
And one of them and Packers ended up winning the Super Bowl. But whatever. We don't talk about the past.
Yeah, they beat the Pittsburgh Steelers that year.
But another interesting thing is the Bucks are 6-7 with the division lead. And you got the Carolina Panthers playing really well.
Oh my gosh, stop it.
Isn't that insane though? 5-8. The Carolina Panthers aren't
You're not going to talk about the Packers at 5-8?
No, absolutely not. Because the Packers don't have the chance to take the division, while the 5-8 Panthers have a chance to beat the 6-7 Bucks.
I got you now.
That's what I'm saying.
Okay. I thought you were talking about the wild card spot.
Imagine the Bucks at 9-8, or not the Bucks, the Panthers at 9-8, or even 8-9. with the 4 seed in the playoffs.
Wow.
Or the Bucks. Terrible team.
We've seen that in the NFC East. We've seen 7-9 Giants get in.
Yeah.
They won the Super Bowl.
They won the Super Bowl that year.
So
they were just better. So I've got, number 5, Cowboys, number 6, Commanders, number 7, Lions. And really, the
Seahawks miss
NFC
it.
South, the Seahawks miss it. The NFC South is still up for grabs.
Yeah.
Still up for grabs.
Which is insane. If you would have told me that the best team in the NFC, what is this, the NFC East, is going to be 5-8, and you're like, the second best team's 5-8, and I'm not going to tell you what the Bucks are.
Yeah.
And there's 3 more weeks till the end of the season.
It's almost unfair, but hey, that's football, baby.
Yep.
So that was our episode of Only Football. Hopefully you guys agree with all our takes. And if not, again, if you lose money, we are not responsible for anything pending on everything we said in this episode as well. Kyle?
Always a pleasure.
Always a pleasure, man. And where can they find you on Twitter to follow all your takes? He's not even going to say it. You can't hear him. Where can they find you on Twitter, Kyle?
Find me on Twitter at FTBLONLYPODCAST. Give me a follow. I would really appreciate. I even follow you back. I'm really enjoying Twitter. I think I'm good at it now.
You're good at it.
This has been a really productive football season for me.
Yes, it has.
A lot of good things to come out of this season. And thank you guys for continuing to support this channel.
Yep. You can find me on Twitter at @andnowrick. You can also find the Star 6 Media account on Twitter at _Star6 Media. You can also follow us at Star 6 Media on Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, Twitch, and Facebook. So go follow all the accounts. If you're listening to us on Spotify, Apple, or anywhere you can listen to podcasts, hit that or rate us on any of those apps. Hit those notifications as well to get notifications whenever we go live, whenever we release a podcast. Share us, like us, all that good stuff. Hit that subscribe button, everything. Do everything you can to support us here at Star 6 Media. And we have got EAFP talking World Cup. We've got Big League Chicago with all your Chicago sports. We've got Sports Strip Live talking about wrestling, boxing, MMA. We've got 3 Up, 3 Down for your MLB baseball needs. Slot Shot hockey podcast for all your podcast needs. And I think I'm missing one more. JCA Sports. Yes, hey. Thank you. JCA Sports for all your nationally televised sports news. Kyle, always a pleasure, brother.
Yeah, man.
Skol!
See ya!